The movie I'm going to talk about today is one of the notorious video nasties, so good thing I got a sponsor for this video. Thanks, Squarespace. That's right, Squarespace, the best way to make your own website, whether you're trying to launch that new business you've always wanted, or just want to show off what you're into. It doesn't matter what your passion is, whether it's photography, art design, writing, or maybe you just want to talk about weird movies like me. You can build a website using Squarespace's easy-to-use design tools. They have dozens of templates available for you to choose from, and you're even reformatted for mobile devices automatically. Squarespace also gives you access to a surplus of marketing tools and analytics so you can see exactly where your site's visitors are coming from, how long they're staying, and what pages are most popular. So if you're somebody who wants to join the thousands of other people who've used Squarespace to make their dreams a reality, just go to squarespace.com/Brandon Tenold and sign up for your free trial. Then when you're confident your site's ready for launch, use the promo code Brandon Tenold for 10% off your first purchase. Alright, let's get into it. You know, so far on this show, I haven't had much luck when it comes to Bigfoot horror movies. A long time ago, I did the movie Bigfoot, which promised some sleazy thrills, but was actually tame and boring. Then there was Yeti Giant of the 20th Century, which wasn't even a horror flick, but a family-friendly romp. Well, mostly anyway. Well, that changes now, because I am about to do what is arguably the most infamous Bigfoot movie ever made. Prepare yourselves for Night of the Demon. Hey, ever been watching a 1980s slasher movie and thought to yourself, I really wish this had Bigfoot in it? Well, this movie's got you covered. Night of the Demon is a 1980 Bigfoot horror movie that's gotten some notoriety in recent years, although some of that probably has to do with it being confused with other movies. There's Night of the Demons, which I already covered, as well as a 1957 British movie called Night of the Demon, which is sometimes known as Curse of the Demon, but both of those movies are actually about demons. This one is about Bigfoot, so it probably should have been called Night of the Sasquatch. It's also more like a Friday the 13th movie if you replace Jason Voorhees with a guy in a big furry costume going around killing people. Even the Blu-ray cover shows Bigfoot holding a bloody axe over a cabin in the woods, and the back has a quote calling it the best and bloodiest Bigfoot movie ever made. Okay, I don't know about that first part, but there is a pretty good case to be made for the second. Some Bigfoot movies promise to be bloody, but this one actually delivers, even landing a spot on Britain's infamous video nasty list of banned horror movies in the 80s. Well, you know what? If this movie's good enough to get banned in Britain, then that means it's good enough to be on this show. Maybe. Well, this isn't a good sign. The movie just started and it's already on life support. Either this guy's been horribly mutilated, or one of the doctors farted and he doesn't want to smell it. So who is he anyway?
Professor Nugent. Professor Nugent.
Professor Nugent? What does he teach? How to play guitar in a loincloth?
Inspector Slack from the Sheriff's Department is here. He'd like to know what happened to you and your students.
It was Bigfoot, I tell you! Bigfoot attacked me and killed all my friends! You gotta believe me!
Alright. Why don't I let this guy say what happened to him?
Perhaps it would be in everyone's best interest, Professor, if you were to begin at the beginning of your story.
Yeah, and when you get to the end of it, stop. So, in case you hadn't figured it out, this is one of those movies where it's mostly told in flashback. But at least Professor Nugent has the decency to start his story off with the movie's opening kill. Jeez, this movie is so violent even the Bigfoot POV shots are blood-stained. And in case anyone's still not sure what kind of movie they're about to watch... Well, you know the old saying, big feet, big body count. Alright, I do gotta admit, this opening title shot where the blood slowly fills up the footprint is actually kinda clever and really sets the tone for the movie. Things are about to get gruesome. Okay, and now all of a sudden it's a made-for-TV movie about a girl getting her period for the first time? The fuck? Seriously, this whole opening credit sequence makes it seem like the movie's about to be a lighthearted feel-good drama, which really contrasts with the previous scene of a guy getting his arm ripped off by Bigfoot. And despite that opening teaser, the next part of the film is as tedious as watching somebody's vacation videos. This is Professor Nugent's class, which apparently has young Sally Field and Buckwheat as students. Also, now that I see him without the bandages bandages on his face, Professor Nugent looks more like Professor Burton Cummings. Nugent's teaching a class on, what else? Bigfoot, and one of his students thinks her father may have been killed by the beast. So just have her give a class presentation on it. I'm sure that'll make her feel better. She also tells a story about a couple that were supposedly killed by Bigfoot, leading to a flashback, even though we're already in a flashback. So I guess this movie's kind of like the inception of killer Bigfoot movies. Anyway, the point is this leads to some nudity. Yeah, ever wanted to see your uncle make a sex tape with his friend Barb from the bowling alley? Well, here you go. And come on, Bigfoot, what are you doing? If the van's a rockin', don't come a slaughterin'. Okay, is Bigfoot killing him, or did he just want in on some of that action? Oh, wait, never mind, he's killing him. Well, at least the woman got off easy. Bigfoot just freeze frames her to death. Because all of these murders occurred in roughly the same area, Professor Nugent wants to lead an expedition into the woods to go find it, which sounds like a great idea.
Some creature surviving up in the forest. He won't be much longer. Some asshole's gonna kill him, you know that.
No. Bigfoot's gonna kill some assholes. That's what's gonna happen. And oh, Jesus, I wasn't expecting the movie to get this terrifying. Anyway, Nugent and some of his students head out into the woods. And again, about that soundtrack. Okay, not what I would expect for this kind of movie, but honestly, I kinda dig it. You're listening to KBFT, The Bigfoot, playing all the mellow, funky sounds you need to tap those big, hairy toes. On this station, R&B stands for Rhythm and Bigfoot, baby. And listen, fellas, I don't think Bigfoot's in his lake home for the summer. Come back later. Even though we've already had 2 Bigfoot kills so far, it still feels like not enough, since all of the scenes without Bigfoot are as exciting as going camping with a bunch of boring people you don't care about.
Hope you don't mind our camping here, but I thought the forest wouldn't be such a good idea since we're not familiar with the area.
How long do you plan to be here?
Way too long! Get back to Bigfoot! Thankfully they do, and this leads to one of the most hilarious deaths in the entire movie. Alright, you know what? Bigfoot was a little behind the movie Prophecy as far as sleeping bag kills go, but he did do it before Jason Voorhees, so props for that. Now, because we've already established that this is being told in flashback, if you're wondering how Professor Nugent knows about Bigfoot kills he wasn't present for, instead of a sleeping bag, this guy should have brought a body bag. Great, now we're back to these boring-ass people.
I don't mean to bother you again because we're already in imposition, but I wanted you to have this.
Bribing me with booze is not gonna work, pal, but I will take it.
Well, I guess it must get lonely sometimes, though, being here by yourself all the time.
Well, it was better when my wife was alive.
Okay, is he planning to seduce this guy to get some more info about Bigfoot?
Give you some good advice, son. Don't be too quick to poke fun at something you know nothing about.
Yeah, I think I know enough about these movies to poke fun at them. I've been doing this for over 10 years, you know. Anyway, this guy doesn't have much info about Bigfoot, but he does know somebody who might.
They call her Crazy Wanda. She lives by herself somewhere back in the forest.
Crazy Wanda? Elizabeth Olsen lives out in these woods? Okay, they've got a good lead, so does this mean the non-Bigfoot scenes are gonna pick up a bit?
That'll be $6.24. There you go.
How much is this postcard?
Hot general store action! Real exciting. They do mention something about Crazy Wanda having a baby, but I'm sure that won't be important later. If you were expecting them to finally go into the woods to look for Bigfoot, nope. First they gotta ask all the townspeople about him and kill more screen time. And even when they do go out into the woods, it's still boring.
I can make note of anything recognizable for landmarks, too.
I could climb some high tree when it gets light. It might save us some mileage.
Good thinking. Make a geographical fix of this area, too, where we're leaving the boat.
Hurry up and find Bigfoot so he can kill you already. Thankfully, Professor Nugent realizes the audience is getting bored and decides to tell a story about a motorcyclist who encountered Bigfoot, which leads to arguably the most infamous part of the entire movie. Let's just say Bigfoot does not appreciate people taking a leak in his backyard. That's right, Bigfoot actually rips a guy's dick off in this movie. Seriously. There you go, pal. Bigfoot took your genitals. That's what you get for riding a Kawasaki instead of a Harley.
By the time he found him, he'd bled to death. Well, we better get some sleep. I want to get a fresh start in the morning.
Sweet dreams, everybody. Don't let Bigfoot rip your dick off. Things do get a little more exciting in the human scenes when a couple of them wander deeper into the woods and stumble upon, an alternate ending to The Last Exorcism?
I can't believe I'm seeing this.
Well, it could be worse. At least it's not the devil inside. As ridiculous as this whole Bigfoot cult scene is, it's still more dignified than the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man remake.
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned?
You know things are really about to get serious when the woods start to have creep show lighting. Oh shit, Bigfoot, lightly cupped his neck and killed him somehow. Oh wait, this is just a dream sequence from Professor Nugent's wife. And again, considering this part is supposed to be a flashback, that means Professor Nugent is telling the doctors about his wife having a dream that he wasn't around for? Well, at least she didn't have an erotic Bigfoot dream. And if anyone's wondering if Bigfoot erotica is a thing, yeah, it totally is. They also find out their boat's mysteriously gone, which means they can't go back to the general store and stock up on Slim Jims.
Now, what could have done that? Something huge, like an elephant.
Well, you're in Northern California, sure it wasn't a rhino? They also find a footprint, which does not look that big. I don't know, call me crazy, but I think Bigfoot should be a little larger than a size 11. With a discovery like this, you won't believe where the movie goes next.
The heel is certainly more humanoid than ape. Aside from the gross size difference, the metatarsals have the same configuration, don't you think?
That's right, more camping bullshit. Well, at least the movie tries to spice things up a bit with a sex scene, although just like with the couple in the van, Bigfoot soon comes in and cock-blocks this guy. Damn, he's never busted so hard in his life.
Do you know what happened?
I saw this terrible face right over us.
That was me, damn it! After more dicking around in the woods, they finally make it to Crazy Wanda's, or the Blair Witch House? I don't know. Hey, excuse me, do you know if there's any more Bigfoot scenes around here? We now meet Crazy Wanda, who will be our sissy SpaceX for the movie. Alright, make it quick, fellas. Wanda's got a long day of sitting in her chair and staring at the wall ahead of her.
We believe that there is a creature living in these mountains that's on the verge of extinction.
Okay, I don't know how many times I need to say this, but the only things on the verge of extinction out here are you guys. Son of a bitch, we came all this way and we still haven't found anything. Let's see, there's gotta be some Bigfoot scenes around here somewhere. Well, while we're waiting, let's have the professor tell us another story. This one's about an imitation brawny man who finds out that not only is Bigfoot a killer, he's also intelligent enough to use tools. Oh, one other thing I gotta mention, if you thought the mellow flute music was weird, just listen to this. Jesus, did Bigfoot murder a ColecoVision in the woods too? What the hell is that sound? Great, and now he just killed the camera. Instead of going back to more boring shit, Professor Nugent immediately starts telling another Bigfoot story. Hey, this movie's starting to catch on to what people are really here for. This one is about a couple of Girl Scouts who, by the looks of it, are about 10 years too old to be Girl Scouts. Yeah, girls, I don't think you're gonna sell too many Thin Mints out here. You might as well go home. It's not long, though, before Bigfoot shows up. Bigfoot want 1 box of peanut butter patties! I know I keep mentioning how ridiculous the death scenes in this movie are, but here, Bigfoot kills these two using the schoolyard bully quit hitting yourself tactic while they're holding knives. Why did the Girl Scouts have knives? Well, so Bigfoot could kill them easier, obviously. Oh, and here's an idea. How about you just drop the knives? Bigfoot didn't kill these two, natural selection did.
Bigfoot's not playing games anymore.
Was he playing games before this? If so, Bigfoot sure likes some fucked up games. Oh, thank God. At this point, Bigfoot's done with the stories and actually starts killing off the main cast. Bigfoot no like boring human characters. Well, consider yourself lucky, pal. You just got the least gory death in the entire movie. All we get is some leftover ragu Bigfoot smeared on a tree. You know, considering one of the people you came with just got murdered, maybe you should go back and just write a term paper on the Loch Ness Monster or something. Or go back to Crazy Wanda, I don't care. At this point, the movie's so desperate for entertainment, it's resorted to jangling its keys in front of the audience. Wanda doesn't talk much, but they use hypnosis, which leads to, you guessed it, another flashback. Wanda remembers when she was just a young Pippi Longstocking who was somehow the same age, but don't be fooled, this ain't a pleasant memory.
Lying bitch. Stinking lying whore.
Yeah, that's right, Bigfoot ain't the only monster in these woods. Okay, Wanda, you got your afternoon beating, now say your prayers, do your bedtime planks, and then go to sleep. As if having an abusive father wasn't bad enough, just wait until you see what happens when Wanda meets Bigfoot. That's right, this movie actually has a Bigfoot rape scene. I told you Bigfoot erotica was a thing. Oh, and if anyone's wondering if we get to see Bigfoot's O-face, yep, we sure do. That does it. Nobody has their way with my daughter but me, damn it! Well, Wanda, I know you're probably a little upset about this, but it's nothing a hearty meal of bread and water won't fix. Oh, and I should mention, this part is going exactly where you think it is. Turns out Wanda's expecting a little foot of her own. Congratulations, Wanda, it's a meatloaf chimp. Well, nice one, Professor. You managed to unlock a traumatic memory she was probably happy to repress. Great job. You know what? Fuck it. Desecrate some graves too while you're at it.
Oh my god. Wanda was telling the truth. And it is the Bigfoot.
Are you sure? 'Cause that doesn't look anything like the baby we saw earlier. Okay, I think you got enough proof. Now would you get the hell out of there already?
Wanda, would you show us how to get out of here?
Easy. Go out the door and start walking. Oh, thank God, Bigfoot's finally here. Now we can finish off the rest of these assholes. And I think he's a little upset you dug up his baby's grave.
He knew that dead baby was his. You could tell. He probably feels that she's its mate.
Oh yeah? What tipped you off? The fact that he mated with her? We do get a bit of good news. Turns out Wanda killed her father by burning him to death.
I burned him. I burned him because he killed my baby.
Bad news, since his bloodstream was mostly moonshine, he went up pretty quick and didn't suffer much. Because there's only 10 minutes left, the climax of this movie turns into a siege film with Bigfoot attacking the house, so it's kinda like Night of the Living Sasquatch. Well, that was your own damn fault. A word about the Bigfoot effects here. The makeup on him isn't terrible, at least compared to some of the other Bigfoot movies I've done on this show, but he kinda looks like a confused old man sometimes. It almost looks like he's going, huh? Is this my house? Who the hell are you people? Is one of you my son? What the hell is going on here? And if you want to make sure your movie makes it past an hour and a half, just shoot the entire last act in slow motion. This finale is where the movie really earns its video nasty status. At one point, Bigfoot rips a character's guts out and then swings him around like a weapon. He also shoves a guy through a window and slices his throat on the glass like he's making a Dario Argento movie. For a movie made back in 1980, this is pretty fucking brutal. Almost as brutal as the soundtrack. It sounds like somebody bought a synthesizer, twisted all the knobs a little bit, and then went, okay, it's done, put it in the movie. Here's a fun fact. Apparently the original cut of the movie wasn't gory at all, but after a bad test screening, the film's producer, Jim Ball, shot a bunch of extra gore scenes without the director's knowledge, thinking that would give the movie more commercial appeal. And considering how tedious all the non-gore scenes in the movie are, yeah, he made the right call there. Alright, that's pretty much everyone. Now you're next, Nugent. This is for Little Miss Dangerous, you piece of shit. Bigfoot proceeds to burn Professor Nugent's entire face on a stove, which somehow turns into just the bottom half of his face being burned back at the hospital.
Inspector, what I'm telling you is the truth. There is a creature out there in the forest. Find Crazy Wanda.
She'll tell you. Make her talk. She knows.
Yeah, it's real interesting, Professor. Here, have some morphine. That'll help you forget your lips have just been burned off. The doctors think Nugent's crazy and decide to have him committed, not because they don't believe his story, but because they're mad he padded it out with all that extraneous bullshit. So there's Night of the Demon, one of the most notorious Bigfoot movies ever made. But is it the best one? Well, the scenes that actually have Bigfoot certainly deliver the goods. A lot of early slasher movies are actually a lot less bloody than people think they are, but not this one. In terms of both gore and sleaze, this one really goes for it. This is one seriously hardcore Bigfoot. What a shame then that the rest of the movie is pretty boring. It's a lot of walking around in the woods with characters that are so bland and interchangeable you could switch all their names around and nobody'd notice. The producer really made a smart decision adding in the extra gore scenes, since that's the main reason why the movie has any sort of following today. And I gotta admit, they are pretty entertaining, even if they are completely ridiculous. But hey, at least this movie had parts that were entertaining, which is a lot more than I can say for Bigfoot. So I don't know if it's the best Bigfoot movie ever made, but best Bigfoot movie that's ever been featured on this show? Sure. So it's got that going for it. Well, it's all for now. Until next time.